Metal. It is for Mabon, and what we're looking at is my cat being a lazy sod. No. So as mentioned in the previous post regarding the hangers, I mentioned that I had a whole lot of Garn projects from the past 12 months or a year and a half, give or take, that I've made, and I'm just not going to use. I mean, I did get some use out of some of them. And then I have a couple of pieces which are, machine knitted, bought from a store. And they're kind of retro, but look at those buttons. So anyway, I'll start off with saying that, often we create all these projects, and sometimes and often, basically sometimes we just don't use them. The Garn is probably too thick for the project. The hook size wasn't quite right, or the needle. Or you liked seeing the item, but are you really going to use it? Like, is it so large that, it's a pain, like scarves when they're super big? How many super big scarves do you need? Is the colouring just not that right? Is it you're very... Ow, just stepped on my ankle a little wrong. Is it the very first jumper you ever made? And that, that's... I've had that for over a decade now. It's a pattern from Wool and the Gang. Was the concept good, but then you feel like too much of a woolly mammoth when you wear it, again, not quite the right anything. The hook size too big. You love the color work, you love the concept, but you went for a hook size way too big trying to play around, and you would like the same thing but with a finer gauge, like this one, so. And this one here, sure, I like the green and the white combined, but it's just too thick for the actual item. Again, this one, I got into a thing where I was using a lot of medium weight Garn, and I do like my light DK. So there's a few things. This I want to redo in a light DK. This poncho, the pattern is by Navita. And, I do love it. It's a nice heavy weight, but I prefer a smidgen lighter in weight. So I'm going to redo it, but with a DK Garn. This is a medium weighted Garn. But this is kind of epic. This one took me for ages, as you could imagine. I might try it again a few times, because it's one of those things I use when it's cold, and now we're getting cold again. So I might wear it a few times, go, no, it's staying as is. But that said, I do want to make the same poncho again, but I'm going to do it in a finer weight. So I might still keep this one. This is a skinny scarf that, is going to go with a coat that I'm making. Again, DK weight. I personally find that the medium weight Garn for a large coat is too much. It literally does feel the weight of wearing a blanket, whereas you do it in the same Garn, same hook size, and it's like literally a third of the weight, and just as warming, and a little less bulky too. So again, if bulky gets to the point where you can't do things, you're wearing something warm inside that's bulky, and you just keep knocking things over because your sleeve gets caught, or, this is that sort of stuff. So I'm redoing that one again, definitely. I'm unwinding these two strands that are together into a ball. I might pull these strands apart, wind them to separate balls, but I do like the green and the white concept together. Maybe I'll try this again, but with 2 DK weighted Garns. I've got a 5M or medium weight and a lightweight DK together. So I might try the same idea, but with DK. So this is a shawl that I was inspired to make by a 70s retro pattern, and I really do like it. However, again, I feel too much to the woolly mammoth wearing it. I don't have a small back. I have wide shoulders. You know, it just, you know, it would be nice as a blanket because, you know, I mean, hello. But anyway, it's going to be unwound, and who knows, I might actually do something like this, but for furnishings or, you know, basically home decor. This one I'm definitely redoing again, but I'm using DK, and this one here is not DK, this is DK. I'll redo this again, but I'm going to use a smaller hook. I believe I used a 12mm hook for this one, crochet hook, and again, just, you know, it literally, the ends touch the ground. So I might even do the same row count, but with a smaller hook. Two of Wands, I really do like her patterns, but for me, it's just not practical wearing long scarves. I mean, they're fantastic, but you know, I'm not a skinny jeans girl. I tend to wear a lot of cargo pants because I'm in and out of mud, hay, and then when I'm behind the computer, I'll you know, have, I tend to wear large woolen skirts and tights underneath, and you know, when it's late at night, I pretty much wear tights all day, and I put my cargos over the top when I'm mucking out in the garden, etc. And at night I put fleecy tracky pants over the top. So usually I'm actually wearing like 3 pairs of pants laid over each other, or 2 tights and a pair of pants, and then the woolen skirt over the top. I just hate cold legs, especially because of my permanent disability. The cold gets to me extra, and you know, it impacts my ability to move even more. So I have to be, you know. But again, maybe this would be better in a DK. But again, long scarves are just not really my thing. I think the only long scarf I really want is, I want to do a old school Doctor Who scarf. Which Doctor, I don't know, but it will be definitely one of the oldies, 80s, maybe more 70s. I am a fan of the old Doctor Who. I won't recognise the atrocity of what they've done to it in the past few years. This is another Two of Wands shawl. Really pretty. I really enjoyed doing this. However, the medium weighted garn was too thick, and she even recommended even thicker garn to that. I might try this again, but with a DK weight, but I might even make it into a throw, or a triangle shawl, and not a long scarf like this one is with the tassels on the end. And part of the reason as well is I do tend to wrap shawls around my waist, over my skirts, especially my wool skirts. There's kind of add a bit of weight down to the skirt so it doesn't blow up when I'm outside. You know, keep my legs warm sort of thing. I mean, they don't blow up over my ears or anything, but you know what I mean. Things flapping around you when you're trying to do stuff is a pain in the neck. So I might try that again, but in a different shape. You know, I really do like the stitching. Thick garn, no. This is another Two of Wands. I really do love this idea. I think it's gorgeous, but I think it's, as a long scarf, it's just too much. I think this would really suit a throw, a lacy throw, especially at the time of Samhain. I mean, look at that. Spooky vibes off the chart. And that will make a cute, you know, lacy throw a little bit without being too much sort of thing. But I'm actually going to undo it all, and I'll keep this stitch combination in mind for something else down the track if it calls for something like that. So we're now down to these 2 store-bought jackets, and I think from Target. They're on sale. They've obviously been used a lot. I don't really use them anymore. Yeah, I just don't use them anymore. I've got one in cream, one in brown. But what I'm actually thinking of doing is even creating a skirt. So actually sewing, pulling it apart and creating an actual, you know, garn skirt. but taking the buttons off and keeping the buttons, because they would do really well for coats that I really do want to make that I will use. And then there's the one in brown. So honestly, go have a look into your closet or your completed projects. What do you really use? If you're not really using something, and you know, and it's the season, appropriate for the season, then maybe unpick it. Don't feel held to hostage because you spent so much time on it. Do you know what I mean? You could use that garn for something else. And last of all, this garn is going to be useless to unpick because it's I think it was Hometown USA line brand, and it's just been used to death. I really did get a lot of use out of this. Again, too big of a stitch for me. It was fun for my first knitting jumper project. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm making Shah some special cushions for the colder season, and I'm going to use it as part of the stuffing. So that's another thing you can do with scraps that you couldn't be bothered picking, or even if you were to pick it, rip it back. The garn's going to be useless anyway. It's going to be feckless because it's doing this sort of stuff. You can use it as stuffing. I have some major gaps where I want to fill with these cardies and jumpers I want to do. And I've got some old machine knit jumpers here, which I will most likely replace when I make my own. I need a good amount because I deal with animals on a daily basis, and often when I get up in the morning, I go outside and it's flippin' freezing, and I have to clean out the runs and, sometimes do some gardening before I take the birds outside from their bed in the house. And, hygiene's everything. If you're wearing the same clothes all the time, you can actually get sick. And then wear and tear as well. I find wear and tear is easier if you have, like my flannel shirts, if you have few of the same things that that you just use on a daily basis for things that will wear them out quickest. So there's that, but I also do need overall jumpers and cardies that I can wear outside of the house that I'm going to enjoy and actually wear. And I've got so many whips going that it'll be fun. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. I thought I would share where I'm at with projects that I no longer use, or idea was great but not quite me, or wrong gauge, wrong garn. Don't be afraid to rip it back, repurpose. Having something sit in your closet year after year that you don't even use is, one, a waste of space, it's clutter, and you could use that material for something else or give it to someone who really wants it. But if you don't have that many people around you, just reuse it. And when you got critters as well, it's a lot. It can be quite easy to reuse things. Blessed be, and merry part.